Chris Ford, owner and editor-in-chief of AdventureParent.com. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to layer up your child when you're going skiing. So there's a lot of little pieces that you have to remember, and what stinks is sometimes if you miss one piece, you remember it on the hill, and that's like the worst time to remember that. So your whole day can be ruined if you just don't think ahead and plot everything out. So I'm going to start with this. So you have a child, and whether they're little or all the way to teenage or even just follow the same rules. So you want to start with thermals. Get yourself a good pair of thermals, not super thick, just comfy, that are going to help give that extra layer of insulation, because ski pants are great, but in cold days you want an extra thermal. On the days spring skiing, whatever, you can skip the thermals, but you want to have them on. You can always step into the warming hut and take them off if it's getting that warm, but you'd rather start with them on. So pants in the bottom, and then of course for the top, same thing. Here's actually two pairs of pants, and then the top, you want to make it sure it fits. You want to tuck them in, because these they'll ride right up. So every time you stop in the bathroom, make sure they tuck these into their thermals on the bottoms. Now, the next layer you want is some kind of a fleece. Most jackets, no matter how fabulous they are probably you're better off having a fleece, especially on very cold days. Use your judgment. If it's warm out and the sun's out and you've checked the weather and it's not going to change, then if you don't think you need a fleece, then you can skip this part. But they're always, again, put it on, you can always take it off. Don't leave the home and get to the mountain and then realize you need a fleece. Otherwise you're hitting you're going right into the store there at the mountain and buying probably, top dollar at limited choices. So you're better off taking it. You can always not use it later. Obviously you need a jacket. I've talked about in depth more about jackets, what to pick, but you want a nice warm jacket. You want to make sure it fits right. You want to make sure that it has the ability to stick out and keep out the snow, both at the top and the bottom of your jacket, and good strong zippers and good material. So that's a jacket. That's an easy one. Same thing goes for the pants. Gotta have ski pants. No jeans, no sweatpants, no just thermals, unless it's really, really spring warmy skiing. Don't skip on this. You'll be sorry. And, at minimum, put on those water-resistant track pants, running pants, but then put a lot of layers underneath. That you can do if you don't have ski pants right off the bat, but I wouldn't recommend that. Next thing you're going to need, a gaiter. Now, I don't like scarves. I have, as a ski instructor, when I was teaching all those little kids, I can't tell you how many scarves got caught on the ski lift itself, under the skis. The kid would go end over because their scarf got stuck under their skis. It's a mess. Don't put a scarf on a child at all, unless you have nothing else to put on them. And if you do, make sure it's tight. But the other thing is, you worry about a knot. God forbid it's knotted around their neck, and those lifts, if something gets caught, they keep moving. So I don't like anything hanging off of a child. I don't like it hanging off of me where at a ski resort where there's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. So keep it, these gaiters, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks max. They pop right over your head, and they stay there, and they stay right around your neck, and they do exactly what a scarf does, but better, with less, hangy endy things. Goggles. You will be miserable without goggles. Sunglasses just aren't enough. Now, you could probably get away with sunglasses if your child is not going in particularly fast, but if you're like me, my eyes tear very badly. So you need goggles, especially if it's cold out and there's any kind of wind. Just going down the hill will create wind. So you want a good pair of goggles. They're going to deflect the light. If you really want to get into it, there are different type lenses for different kinds of weather. So, but for kids, a good pair of goggles that kind of keeps the bright out and that still makes it visible for them, even in cloudy weather. That's most important. So good solid pair. Don't get the cheapest pair you can find, otherwise it'll be fogging up and they'll be miserable. Helmet. Must have a helmet. I never used a helmet as a kid. I never, as even a teen or an adult. And now everybody's got them. I gave in. I have mine. I see the value, and they're really important. My daughter actually took a spill off of the lift itself. She was going up and didn't get off in time, and so she actually jumped and hit her head on the ice. Thank God, because her helmet had a big dent in it, and it saved, it saved her head. So we got rid of that helmet because you always, after any kind of a major issue, it's done its job, it's lived its life. You thank it, and you put it away. Don't pass it down to anybody else. Don't put it away in the closet, and you'll forget that it had that dent in it. But there's, if you want a top performing helmet, every time you have a major incident, hopefully you never do. When you do, get a new one, and make sure it fits too. A lot of them come with vents, which is great because then you can, if it gets too hot in there on warm days, you can vent it. Next thing you're gonna need at the bottom, socks. These socks are ski socks. You do want to spend the time and effort getting ski socks, not just cotton socks. You want real ski socks, silk socks, woolen socks. Wool tends to be a little heavy and a little itchy, so I'd recommend either some kind of technical fiber socks, socks that are meant to be ski socks. They usually have a little padding in the toe for extra warmth, a little padding in the front by the shins so that you don't get, it starts to hurt after a while sometimes with boots, especially if they're rentals. And so you can't miss, chintz out on the socks. Won't work. Gloves, same thing. Don't get cheapy gloves. Don't get the ones that are just in the store that are half price and they're not really ski gloves. They're just, to take sledding up the hill. You can go in, get real ski gloves that are Thinsulate or Gore-Tex, just like your jacket. Same material as your jacket. Good insulation. You might want to get some liners if it's extra cold out. Because if you get out on the hill and your child, the one thing that's cold is their hands, they're going to be crying, they're going to be wanting to go in, and you're going to have a miserable time, and you're going to have spent like $100, $125, depending on where you're going, for a lift ticket and then whatever their lift ticket costs, so that you can sit in the warming hut because their hands are cold. So that's kind of, not fun. Another thing you might want to consider, and not a lot of people do this. It depends. A little bit on it's maybe a little more of a West Coast, definitely a European thing. To ski with a backpack, I recommend a light backpack that can carry a bottle of water, that can carry a couple of things. Putting big books in there and stuffed animals, maybe one if they really want, but something light on their back. It's not really so much for balance or anything, just so you don't end up putting all this kind of extra junk in their jacket, trying to stuff it in their pockets, and then they're kind of like trying to ski when their pockets are out to here. So you could put an extra pair of gloves, liners. It's also, if it's empty, if it's getting warm, you can throw in the, anything you need to take off, you can throw it right in there. Same thing for you. This isn't just for a child. But what it does is it gives you a little more flexibility, and you find you don't have to be racing back and forth into the warming hut and, starting all over again from the bottom of the hill halfway through because you forgot something and want to go back to your locker. Lastly, I think these are great to include, especially in that little backpack, are toe warmers and hand warmers. So these are toe warmers, and what they do, they're sticky. And what I like to use is I can use them for actually toe warmers and put them under my boot. Sometimes if I have a thick, my sock's a little on the thick side, it can get a little uncomfortable. So I've actually used them at other places besides my toes as well. They're sticky, so I've actually put them right down my ski pants and my child's ski pants. Don't put them directly on skin. Put them on your thermals, because they can get actually very hot. It's like a chemical reaction that causes this heat, and you got to make sure you shake it, you crack it and shake it. They're a couple bucks if you buy them right at the mountain, but I bought them in bulk right on Amazon for, I don't know, $30-something. So that was huge, and that's lasted me 2 years. So I've got this for toes and for hand warmers. And hand warmers just look like almost like little chalk bags. You slide them right in your gloves or keep them in your pockets. Bring a pair for a friend because, I've had so many friends over time saying to me, no, I'll be fine. And then sitting on the lift, they realize that's the coldest part of the hill is sitting on a long lift. God forbid it ever stops for a little while, you get even colder. So these can make or break your ski day, just having them handy. So I would recommend throwing a couple in pockets in your backpack and just taking them. So that's it. That's what you need to get your child physically ready to get on the hill, minus the skis and the boots, of course, but that's what you need to do to layer up your child in order to have a great day on the hill. So if you have any questions or comments, or tell me what you think of the videos, I would love to hear from you. Go to adventureparent.com